Good morning, everyone. I hope you are safe.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, and you are having a great time, great Diwali. So now we are back on again in our lectures, right? So in previous lectures, I mean before 2 weeks, that what we have seen is we have finished almost our syllabus, right? And we were about to do the revision sessions, right? So one more thing, I mean, in you can say the standard template library, that STL, it's having lot many containers, and each and every container we are not going to discuss, but due to your one practical, we are again going to see one of the container, which is map, right? So that we will see today, and afterwards, I mean, during these 2 weeks, we will do revision sessions, right? So whatsoever the topic you will see, that I'll repeat again, right? All the contents, figures, everything is taken from your reference book, E. Balagurusamy, which is already mentioned. Fine, so almost everyone is there. Okay. So I hope I'm audible to you guys, so we can continue.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So we have seen basically your standard template library from where we have started. It's having three core components, right? One is container, algorithm, and iterator. We have already seen what is iterator, what is the basic algorithm. We are not going to discuss all the algorithms, right? But you should know at least what is algorithm. But our main focus is on container right now, right? Our all practical list and all things are, I mean, more uh, towards this container. So we have seen many of the containers, right? This is what we have seen, just the overview, right? Because in 2 weeks, I maybe you forget the things. Okay, so, well, do the presentation from here. So here some of the containers. Here we have seen one more, that was array, right? Then vector, I mean, then queue, stack, priority queue, list, set, map. There are lot many containers. So we are not going to see this queue, stack, priority queue, because they all are having simple functions, what you are making right now in data structure, right? All the functions only are there. You just need to use it, and that's it. So list also we have seen, right? That was related to linked list. It replicates linked list. Then we are having set, but right now set is not so important for us, right? It is related to trees, okay? But you can check out whatsoever the functionalities are there, right? You can insert the nodes into the tree. You can delete the nodes into the tree, balance tree, and so on. And there is one important one is map. Map is for associative arrays. So you know that thing, that whatsoever the elements you are inserting, right, they would be the duplicate one, right? If you have inserted five once, you can again insert five, right? But in some of the list, or you can say in some of the array, or in some of the vector, if you wish that you don't want any repeated elements, you want the unique one, right? So for uniqueness, you can choose this map. So we'll see. We have already seen this array, this vector functionalities that you already know, right? Linked list, I mean only list. Then we have seen some of the things about iterator. Iterator is nothing but a kind of thing which will just point out, right? It's a kind of pointer, because directly algorithm and your container, they cannot work, right? Because your algorithm is particularly for what data type, or it is particularly for what container, that is not the specific one. all the algorithms are written in general, generic, right? Generic means what? It is not dependent on any of the data type. You can take even integer variables, you can take double variables, any kind of variables you can take. So whatsoever you are writing the logic for the shorting or something, for that, if you are making a function, you are taking particular arguments, that you are taking one array. In array, that array also you are taking either integer or float or double. So whatsoever you are writing your logic, that is totally depends on the data type, right? But here algorithms, they are made of the templates, means it is not dependent on the data type, as well as it is not dependent on the container. Because if you are making the template, right, over there also you are mentioning that what you are taking, either you are taking array or you are taking vector or you are taking list or a queue or whatever the container, fine. But here it is totally free of that even. So there is no direct link between the algorithm and the container. Iterator is the one, it's actually acting as a bridge, right, in between this. So I hope you are getting some of the things, right, that how the iterator will work. I'm checking my connection in between. Fine. So here is a map. Maps are what actually? The maps are associative containers that store the elements in a mapped fashion. Each element has a key value and a mapped value, and no two mapped values can have the same key values. So if I'll talk in a database language, you already know what is the primary key. What is primary key? It's having a uniqueness, right? So no two values would be same into the primary key. No repeated elements would be there. Simple thing, right? So here you are having a, indexed value. If you know what is index in your book, what is it? It's just an overview, right? It's a mapping, you can say. If you want to look on the chapter one, you will be having a page number at the right hand side. So it's a two value over there. It is something like this, right? So map is nothing. One would be your key value and another would be your mapped value. It's always into a pair. It's always into a pair, right? But whatsoever you are having a left hand side, that won't be repeated. If there is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the left hand side, no two values could be like two ones and two kind of threes and fours and all, right? You'll be having a unique value at the left hand side, and the right hand side value, that is a mapped value, that could be anyone, right? That could be anything. So for that, you are having functions like a begin function, which you already know, it will returns the iterator to the first element, end, that will return the last element, then size, it will return the element into the map, max size, empty, if your map is empty or not. Then this is the one, pair. Pair insert, you are inserting key value as well as the map value. It will add a new element to the map. So pair is nothing but your return type, insert is a function, and here you are giving the two values, key value and the map value. Erase, again you can give any of the iterator position, so it will remove that element, right? But they are deleting this, they are erasing this via iterator, means you can access your variable via normal variable also, and you can access the same variable via pointer also, if you remember, right? So here you are erasing the element via iterator, and here you are giving the constant key value. You want to erase this value, so for that you can give that particular key value, and that value will be erased from the map. Clear, it will remove all the elements from the map. So these are some of the functions, but we'll see directly what is the programming, because we are not going much into the theory, right? We'll directly see the programs. I hope you have finished, your all the tutorial programs. Have you? Anyone can answer in chat. You have finished the template programs in your tutorial. Yes or no? Am I audible to you guys? Okay, fine. So first we'll see what is the map is, right? Very simple program. Here you are including the map, right? If I'm using iterator, I need to include that also. And I used to have this IO stream in my program, right? And using namespace standard as always. From integer main, what I'm writing is I'm creating a map. And what I said is map would be into the pair. So I'm saying that map that what I'm creating is for integer one. So integer, and the first map object you can say it's M1. Fine. Now what I'm doing is I'm having a blank map right now, right? No values are there. So this is your empty map container. Now what you are doing is you are inserting elements, right? So M1 dot insert. This is the function insert, right? And you are inserting into the pair. So you are writing over here pair. Then again you are specifying this is integer, and you are actually inserting some elements. That this one is your key value, and this 40 is actually the value which will be there in this key, right? So it is something like you are having a chapter 1 on the page number 40. This is something like this, right? So you can understand what is this. Then you are having 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again I'm trying for the 7, right? What I said is it is actually a kind of primary key, right? So you cannot insert the same key again. So let's check what will happen if again I'm writing this 7 and then 100. Okay, so what I've written the logic, that is for the printing, right? On my map, this integer, I'm having one iterator, one pointer kind of thing, right? So the syntax for that you already know. Sorry. Yeah. So you syntax you already know. You have to write over here the container, right? Then scope resolution operator, then iterator, that is the keyword, and then the iterator name, right? So I have taken over here ITR. Yes. Anyone is writing in the chat? Okay. Nobody. Fine. So here, what we are doing is the map is I'm simply printing my key as well as the element. Okay, simply I'm printing this. Whatsoever I have inserted into the map, that just I want to print, just like my array. Okay, so I'll simply take the for loop. I'll set the position for my iterator, that itr is pointing right now where. So it is pointing to m1 dot begin. So whenever I'll write m1 dot begin, it will point out to a very first element of my map, right? Then it will continue till itr is not is equals to m1 dot end. Till the last element, this loop will be continue, and itr plus plus, right? So in C out, what we are doing is itr2 first, because you want to um, display a very first element and the very second element. So here first is actually referring your first value, which is your key, and the second element, whenever you are writing second, at that time it will refer a second value. So first and second are nothing, but you can say a kind of a keyword, right, via which you can access your key and the value. Okay, so itr to first and itr to second, will actually point to this key and the key value. Fine, getting the things. So when I'll run this program, um, yes, Shubham, you can ask. You can write down into the chat if you are having any question. No need to raise the hand, right? You can ask any of the question in the
मैम
chat.
मैम
Yes.
आपने सेवन सेवन और इंडेक्स
Hmm.
इंडेक्स में आपने 7 और 10 लिखा था और 7 और 100 वो सब टू सेम वैल्यूज नहीं हुई मैम.
Yes. So that is why I'm showing you the output now, that what will happen if you are giving these two values the same values. That only we are checking now, right? That what will happen. Yes, Savan. Right. So that is why I said first you will check the output. It won't insert the second element. This will not be inserted. That what I'm going to show you. Right? That is why we are running the program. Once we'll run the program, you will clear your doubts. Yeah. So here you can see what has been inserted. Have you seen this? Key and the element. First and 40 has been inserted, second and 30 is there, and so and so. But here you can check 7 and 10, the first time what you have inserted, that is there. But again, if you are trying with the same key, that will not be inserted. That is only the map, right? The same values over here at the left hand side, that won't be there. Now getting the things, yes or no? I hope, Shubham, your doubt has been cleared. Right? Okay, fine. So this is what the map. Now again, another program related to map. What we are doing over here is you can even insert the values like this. I'm showing you different ways. Like here you can insert the values, that is also fine. And here you can insert more than one value at a time. When you are creating the object of map, at that time only you can give into the curly braces and like this pair 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and something like this, right? So this three things, this three pairs you have already given, right, when you are creating your map. Now you want to add another values, right? So m dot insert, again you can write like this, pair integer integer, and you are entering 4 and 5. So another new entry will be there, k is equals to 4 and key value is equals to 5. This is what you have inserted. Now there is one more function that will do the same thing, right? What you are writing like this, the same way you can use one function which is make underscore pair. Okay, so you don't have to give a kind of this thing, right? You can directly use this m dot insert make pair, and you are giving 5 and 6. So you are inserting new entry, key is equals to 5 and value is equals to 6. Okay. So this is another way. I'm showing you the different way that how you can do the entry. Right? Now on this map integer integer, you are having a iterator, right? So scope resolution operator, iterator keyword, and I. Same way you are having another iterator j. You can have more than one pointers, right? So first what you are doing is I'm not using j over here, right? That is for the further further on my program. So in for loop, I'm setting my I, that is my iterator, to m dot begin. So at the very first element of your map, it is right now pointing. I is not is equals to m dot end and I plus plus. So in C out, what you are doing is you are simply printing I to first and I to second. Okay, so first and second element both will be there. I mean the key and the key value, that both will be printed. So you will be having what? You'll be having this one key, two its value, two key, three its a value, three key, four its a value, then four and five, and so you will be having total five different values that will be printed. Fine. Now what you are doing is you can point to any of the entry which is having a key is equals to 2. So how you can find the value which is there on the key 2? So you are finding that m dot find at 2. So at the second index, what you are finding, or at the second index, or you can say on the second key, what you are finding, the value is 3, right? If I'm writing that you have to find that m dot find at 5. At 5, what is there? So at the 5, you can say that you are having a value 6, right? So that value you are inserting. So new m, that is again I'm creating another object, another map, right? That is new m, and you are inserting new m dot insert ij. What I would be having in I, 3, and what I will be having in j, that would be 6. So here 3 and 6 will be inserted. So I'm simply printing that I2 second and J2 second, right? That what they are printing. So that you can check. And over here also, if you are doing same thing, that make pair 3 and 6. But here you are already having 3 and value is the 4. So how you can again insert 3 and the value as a 6? No, you cannot do that, right? So if you are writing, though you are writing like this, it will not insert the pair as map m already contain key is equals to 3. So if you wish to do that, you have to update the value. And how you can update it? You have to find a particular key first like this, and then you are doing I2 second is equals to something, right? So you can change the value at this particular key, but you cannot insert another entry which is having the key 3. Getting this thing? You can modify this thing that you have inserted 3 and 4, but you want to make it 3 and 6. So this thing you can do, but the another entry is not possible. Okay? So when you'll run this program, you'll get to know that what you are getting. So here first they are printing what is key and what is the element, right? So 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is a pair, 2 and 3 is a pair, 3 and 4 is a pair. Then you have inserted 4 and 5. So 4 and 5 is here, and then 5, 6. So 5, 6 is here. And now what you are doing over here, I2 first and I2 second, right? So over here you are having the value 3 and 6. This is what you are printing. Because whenever you are finding that over here, you are finding that m dot first, m dot find 2 and m dot find 5. So here you will get 3 and here you are getting 6. So this both values you are simply printing, right? So different kind of operations you can do with it, right? You can even search for more programs on net, right? This is what the basic thing. We are having sufficient time, so we are exploring it. Okay, I hope the map is also clear to you guys. So we will see what is the program actually given in your tutorial. I hope you have already performed it. Either say yes or say no. At least one person can write over here. So I'll get to know. You have already performed, right? That program with the map. Okay. You have performed, then it's fine. Okay. So here's the solution. For that, what you are doing is, well, you have done, but here we have used the map, right? And this is the program where you will be having your car model, right? What kind of model you are having, and units for that model that you have sold, right? So for a particular car model, what unit you have sold, for that you are entering just the cost for a single model. That if you are having the car model for the Hyundai, if I'll talk, it would be the i20 or i10 or a Santro or any models, right? And then I'm saying that Centro sold one, right? The I-20 5, I-10 4, and now I'm simply entering a price for at least unit car model. That Centro price is 4 lakh. For the I-10, it would be 6 lakh, and for the I-20, it would be the 8 lakh, right? So I'll simply enter that, and it will show me that what is the total cost for a one car model, right? It will show that. That is what my program was, right? So I hope you have performed in this way only, right? Because we need the values in the pair, right? For one car model, you will be having the value. For another car model, you will be having number of values. This is how we are using the pair. Clear this thing? Any doubts in this? Because we are having sufficient time, maybe we can see the program again if you wish, or else we can continue with another topic which you want me to repeat.
Ma'am, can you repeat once?
Whatever you say.
Ma'am, to this program.
Nam. Yeah, so that's what I'm asking. Fine. So first I'll show the definition, then and only then we will be able to explain what I need to do. Just a sec. Fine. So the last program, right, that what you need to do is a table gives the list of car models and the number of units sold in each type in a specified period. Say suppose in 1 month, how many cars has been sold, right? So write a program to store this table in a suitable container. So we have to select what kind of container we want, right? And to display interactively the total value of a particular model sold, given the unit cost of that model, right? So we have to give just a unit cost for that model, and it will finally calculate that what is the total cost for a particular model, right? So this is what we are going to do. So first of all, I've taken a vector, right? Because I want this thing to be stored into the vector. But I'm using over here a pair. You can even use map over here, right? But I'm using over here vector. Over there also I'm storing the values in the pair. So map is already used over there, right? So in the pair, what I'm doing is first is a string because I'm giving a car model, and the second would be the price. You can take over here float, right? But for the round figure, I have taken it as an integer, right? So you can simply make it over here double or float up to your use. And then n, that is the variable of vector, or you can say object of the vector. Now you are taking one string cn because that will be entered by the user ultimately, right? So for that I have taken two variables, string and integer cn and un. Okay. So simply I have taken one for loop, right? I have taken for loop that is just for the three models. You can even take this value from the user as an n, right? So I is equals to 0, I is less than or is equals to n, and I plus plus. So user will enter for how many car models they need to enter the data. So by this way, you can even make the program dynamic. Fine. Now I'm asking to user that enter the car model. So user will enter the model that we will take over here in cn, which will be the string, right? Then enter the units for the model, that how many units have been sold, right? So 5 units for the Centro or 4 units for the I-20 or something like that. Okay. And then finally I'm pushing that data, right, onto my vector, because in vector if I wish to insert any of the data, then there is a function which is push back. But inside the bracket, have you seen this? What function I have used? Make pair, which is the function of map, right? Because I want to make a pair for for this data, and finally this pair will be there into my vector. So only one table would be there. So what I'm doing is n dot pushback, and what I'm pushing back, that is make pair Cn and Un. So Cn and Un are there into a pair. So Cn would be unique one and Un would be a value for that key. Okay. After that, we are simply printing the values whatsoever the user have entered. It will be shown just one kind of a table that again I'll be having the same I is equals to 0, I less than equals to 2, I plus plus, and what I'm printing is n of I, right? So it would be n of 0, n of 1, n of 2, n of 0 dot first. So the first element would be there, that is your key, and the second n of I dot second, that would be your key value, right? So what model is there, that will be printed, and how many units you have sold, that will be printed. So first I'll show you the output and then I'll explain the program, so you will be more clear about it, right? So enter a very first car model. So I'm giving over here I-20, right? How many units have been sold? So say suppose in 1 month 5 units sold. Again another one, I'll give I-10, and 3 units have been sold, and another one, that is Santro, for that 2 units have been sold. So this is how it will show that I-20 5 units, I-10 3 units, Santro 2 units. This data will be there in a pair. So this I-20, I-10 and Santro are the unique one. These are the values 5, 3 and 2 for that particular model. That many units have been sold. Now I'm entering the cost of a first model, that I-20 cost 8 lakh rupees. So I'll give 8, right? So total cost would be what? How many units I was having? 5 units I have sold, so 5 multiplied by 8. So it will be 40. This is what I want, right? Second car model, for that the price is 6 lakhs, say suppose. That is I-10. So how many was sold? 3. So 3 into 6, that would be 80. This is how this pair will work, right? And for third, it says suppose it's 4 lakhs, right? So the total cost 8 because we have sold only 2 units, right? For that, I'm showing you the logic that what we did, right? So here I've taken 2 integer variables again. One is cost and one is total cost, because the cost will be entered by the user, that for the unit value. So here simply enter the cost of a first model. So user will enter the cost, right? And now the total cost, how they are calculating, because I would be having my total units sold, that is in n of I dot second, right? Okay, n of I dot second. So in the second, I would be having the total units, and that I'll multiply with the cost. So this is how I'm getting a total, cost, right? N of I dot, it would be having that integer value is un, right? You can say that. Done. So I hope program is clear to you guys. Yes or no? Okay, sure. Good. Fine. So this is what we have done with this unit. More and more we have seen most of the containers, because this unit was actually divided into 3 parts, right? The last unit was, it was all about the normal template, right? What is template and so and so. That was all about the one lecture, right? Because total 3 lectures are there. One lecture for all the templates, then the another lecture that is for overview and use of standard template libraries. That is only a single topic which is given, but we have seen almost what is algorithm, what is iterator, how to use the iterator, what is vector array, and so, right? We have seen almost 3 lectures only for STL. And the last one, that is for exception handling, try catch, multiple catch, and rethrowing the exception and so on, right? So that we have seen. So here we have finished everything, right? More than what is written into your syllabus, right? We haven't leave any single topic. So if you want me to repeat any of the topics, right, you can tell me. So from the next lecture till the 5th December, we will do the revision, right? Yes, anyone? Anything I need to repeat? Then let me know. Waiting for your answer. In this unit, even if you wish to repeat anything, then we can this template again. Hmm? Because we are having sufficient time. We are still having 20 minutes. We can do something. Fine, so I'll simply repeat this unit at least, right? And from the next lecture, whatsoever the topic that you will give, that I'll repeat, right? So, what is template? Many of you maybe missed that lecture. So again, I'm repeating that. Using a template, we can generate a generic class and function, which we are writing in general, right? It is not bound to any data type or something, right? We are writing a simple function which will be applicable for all the data types, right? Whatsoever the user want, that data type they can pass as a parameter at the time of function call, right? So from the integer main, if we wish that I want this function work on the integer data type, so you can pass integer as a parameter from the function, right? From the function call, whenever actually you are calling the function, right? So it provides a support for generic programming, and that would be great if just because of your data type you are writing that function again and again many of the times. Then it is, you are actually doing more hard work than it is needed. It is something like that. Function overloading is the example of that. Because I want to do the addition, my logic will be remain same, but just because of the data type, every time I need to write my functions again and again. One function that is which will do the addition for integer data type. One function addition that will do addition of float type. One for the double type. But my logic is the same. No, I just want to do the addition. So why I need to write all the functions again and again where their logic will remain same, but only just shake of the data type, I have to write that function again, right? So the template is useful at that time because you are writing that function only a single time, and the data type you are giving from the integer main as an argument only, right? As a parameter only. So this is how we can suppress our code, right? Number of lines. So here is the first example that how you can write the template. Say suppose you want to find the maximum from the two values, right? So this two values could be integer, two values could be float or the character. So if I'm not having a template, I have to write three functions over here, something like this. That one function is working for integer, that integer my max integer, it is finding maximum, and it will return as an integer value. So here the return type is integer. Same way for the float, same way for the character. So I need to write three different functions. Why? Because I'm having different data type. That is why only. Otherwise the logic will remain same because I want to find the maximum only. That's it. Right? So here that is the solution as a template. You can write over here as a T, because T will represent your data type, whatsoever will be given into these angular brackets, right, from integer main, that I'm calling this function my max, and just your function name and your parameter in between that, in this bracket you are specifying that I'm passing the arguments over here as an integer one. So wherever you have written the t, that will be replaced by this int, integer, right? So here it will be integer, integer, here also integer. Wherever you have written t, it will be replaced by your data type, whatsoever you have given from integer mean, right? And it will find the maximum value out of this, right? Same way for the float. If you want to run the same function, but now your data type would be the float one, you simply write over here float, and you can pass the float values. If you want to do the same thing for the character, you have to pass the character. So at the run time, sorry, at the compile time, what the compiler will do, compiler internally generates and add the below code by its own. You don't have to write it, right? Compiler will do this task for you. So you are writing only one function in general, in a generic type, right? Whatsoever the data type is there, you are not concerned about it. But the compiler will do this task for you, right? And you are simply writing one function, and it is working for all the three different data types. It's just a 5-line code, right? But it's working for integer, float, and character, all the kind of data type. So this is what actually the main functionality of the template. I hope it is clear. For the D2Ds, maybe this is the very first time. So any one of you can respond that you are getting what is the template. Yes, Eva, Fenil, Trenic, Michelle. Fine. Then a function template, because what we have seen, that was the example of function template, right? Now the syntax is given. You can give over here a class as a keyword, or you can give the type name as a keyword. Both will do the same thing, right? You can also use the type name over here, right? So here you are having a data type T, what will represent your data type, a function name, then again T, because at the time of data type you are only writing T, and the argument name A, B, C, whatever you are taking. Same way you can have a different class template, because in a class, if you are taking the variable as an integer one, so that class is only working on integer variables. It's not working with the float variables or the double variables and so on. So that is again the disadvantage, and if you wish to work with a double variable, you have to make again another class which will deal with the double variables, right? So again you have to repeat the classes also. So why to do that if you are already having a class template? So over there also it's the same kind of thing. Whenever you are having any data type, you will simply represent it with the T. So here you are having a T, right? So it will replace by it at the time of whenever you are creating the object. So your class name and your object name. This is how you are creating your object, right? Your class name space your object name. But in between that class name and object name, now you are specifying what data type you want to give for your particular class variables. So at that time you can specify, is it integer or float or what kind of, right? So it will be given. This is what the syntax for the class template. So this is the example. If you are having one class which is a calculator, and you will simply make it as an integer one, say suppose integer number one and number two. So now your all the variables is dealing with only the integer one. integer variables. It cannot work with the float. If you wish, you have to make another class and so on. This was the disadvantage. Now we are uh, doing this thing with the class template. So we are not specifying any data type. We have overcome this problem, and you can simply represent it with the T. So whatsoever here we are giving as an integer, so all the variables will be integer. If we are giving over here float, all the variables, data type, everything will be as an float. So this is how you can give the class template, right? This is your constructor. In that also you are passing two arguments. That is also represented as a T. Here also this addition function, it is simply returning your addition, which would be either integer or float or double, whatever you will say, right? So the return, and here the return type is as a T, because if your numbers are integer, return type will be integer. If your numbers are float, your return type will be float, right? So this is how it's working. Any doubt in this? I'll say yes or no. Fine. Great. And then overloading template. Because every time it is not possible for you to give all the possible values, right? That you are providing the function overloading for integer, you are giving for the float, for the character, and for all. So generally, we users are used to give the integer values, right? So you can give one particular function that is for integer one, right? And one particular function that is for overall generic, that if any of the argument would be like this, given by the user, that will be here. Otherwise it will go to the particular function. So if I'm calling a function that 1 and 2, so at that time it will go to this function, because it's a particular one. They are finding a perfect match, that 1 is an integer, 2 is an integer. So integer kind of functions we are having. Yes, we are having. So it will go into the non-template function. Okay. And then second time you are passing two values as a double or a float, you can say. So at that time it will call this function, and it will go in a template function. Again, second time you are giving the character. So for the character you haven't specified any function, so it will go to the generic function and it will be executed like this. And at the last one, and into this character b, but the character would be converted into the integer one. It will check for the first argument, it is exactly matched with this integer one, and this character you can convert into the integer one, so it will call this function, not this generic function. So again you are in a known template function. This is what we have seen in overloading template function. Then template and inheritance, this is what we have seen, right? I'm having one class, that is class 1. In this public, I'm having one variable with some data type, which is represented as a T, which will be given by the user. And right now we are in a parent class, so I'm simply writing in parent and see out simply x, what is the value of x, right? This is what we are doing in the constructor. Then I would be having another class, that is 2, and it is from the class 1 and derived publicly, and you are also giving what is the template variable you have used in your class 1. Maybe it would be something different in your class 2, right? Maybe. But here in both the classes you are only using the T, so there is no difference, right? So here you are saying that what you have used in your class 1. Now into the public section, you are having another constructor, that 2, again that data type T, colon, because your child class would be the responsible one to call your parent class whenever it would be having any parameterized constructor, if you remember, right? So if your parent class is having any parameterized constructor, child is having the responsibility to call that constructor, right? So again, they are calling this one and the parameter list, but between the name of your constructor and the parameter list, you are specifying the data type in this triangular bracket, right? So that is T. And now you are in the child class. This is what you are doing. So a very first time, always you are creating the object of your child class, right? So I'm creating the object of 2 over here, so 2, but I want all the values as an integer one, so you are specifying integer, then you are creating the object and you have given the object name as O1 and you are passing the value 2, because your class will behave as an, I mean, it will include the integer variables, right? So that is why. So here every t will be replaced with integer now, int, because you have specified it, right? So here everywhere integer one, but you already know that it will call directly your parent class first, that will be executed, and then the child classes execution will be there. So it will directly go to in parent is there. Here your value of x will become 2 because you have passed 2 over here. Then you are in child class. This is how the execution will be done. 3 lines will be executed like this from parent to child, right? And here again you are creating another object O2, but that is with the float, and you are passing the value 1.1. So again in parent your value x is equals to 1.1, but now you are in a child class, right? And here we have finished all about the template. Next is the exception handling. Maybe that we will discuss next time, right? Fine. So you can write down your number, first the IT people, right? And then the computer one. Please write it down your number into the chat box. At the very last, D2D will write their number, first IT people, then computer, and then at the last D2D. If once you have written your number, you may leave the meet. Thank you all.